This is one of those topics where someone in your family probably told you not to mess with it, right before doing it. Anyway, Ouija boards, spooky plastic, or actual spiritual hotspot. Let's talk about why that thing may not be summoning who or what you think it is. Let's start with the image you probably already have in your head. An old Ouija board laid out under dim lighting, a few nervous friends, maybe someone joking too loud to hide how tense they really feel. Then suddenly, the planchette moves. By itself, or so it seems. For generations, this board has been advertised or warned as a tool to talk to the dead. Its popularity exploded around spiritualism in the late 1800s and never really hit the brakes. Horror movies treated it like contraband. News stories blamed it for possessions and breakdowns, and people bought in. Because here's the thing, it speaks, or at least it seems to answer you. Ask your question, and you get a response just vague enough to feel eerily correct. And something happens in your chest. It feels real. But you're not just playing a game, you're performing an act of micro-theatre. The actors are your hands, and the director, your subconscious. The Ouija board looks older than it actually is. Most people assume it's some ancient relic, maybe Egyptian, maybe demonic. But no, it was actually patented in 1891, right in the middle of America's spiritualism craze, a movement where people believed they could regularly speak to the dead. Think seances, ectoplasm, and a whole lot of table knocking. The board was marketed as both entertainment and a mystical device. Early advertisements promised it would provide a link between known and unknown. Basically, party trick meets seance. It became a massive commercial success, especially post-World War I, when grieving families desperately wanted to believe they could talk to loved ones who never made it home. But what's fascinating is how quickly the vibe shifted. By the 1970s and 80s, the Ouija board transformed from curiosity to cautionary tale, blame it on the exorcist. After that, the board's rep turned from novelty to do not touch under any circumstances. Fear sells better, and deeply rooted anxiety sticks longer than intrigue. So why do people believe it works? Honestly, the experiences can feel disturbingly convincing. People report specific names, accurate dates, or things no one in the room was supposed to know. Others say they felt cold spots, heard sounds, or had strange dreams after. And that's powerful, not just because it's spooky, but because the board feels responsive. It feeds in real time. You think something and it answers, which makes forgetting it's made of cardboard kind of easy. But here's the catch. These reactions aren't only emotional. They're often guided by subtle, unspoken cues. Someone glancing at a word, a tiny nudge made unconsciously, collective tension. It only takes one person expecting the planchette to move. For it to move. Add some group psychology to the mix and suddenly everyone's tuning in to an unplanned performance, which is how rituals start. They get repeated, they get remembered. But does that make it real? Well, that depends on how you define real. Time for the science. Enter the ideomotor effect. It's a psychological phenomenon where your muscles move involuntarily while you believe you're staying still. Picture a pendulum that swings when you think about it moving left. You didn't notice your fingers pull it, but they did, and your brain told itself a story to explain it. That's the Ouija board in a nutshell. When you place your fingers on the planchette and ask a question, your brain subconsciously forms an expectation, and your muscles follow, softly, precisely, without your awareness. You don't feel like you're moving it, because the motion is filtered through layers of intention you never consciously approved. It's a fascinating peek at just how much of our thinking happens out of frame. The kicker, it doesn't work as well alone. That's why solo Ouija sessions tend to fizzle. With groups, your brains and muscle signals start syncing, creating the illusion that the board has an agenda. Nope, it's just you, and maybe Steve across the table subconsciously pushing towards Zed. Here's where it gets weird again. Even after learning how the effect works, many people still believe. In fact, some researchers found that even when participants were told their movements were unconscious, they still felt like something else was guiding them. Why? Because the experience taps something ancient. We've always sought meaning in randomness, especially under dim lights and deep questions. The Ouija is a ritual, not a toy. It offers a sense of contact, mystery, fear, and control over the unknown. And our brains, ever drama addicted, love to fill in the blanks. The stories we tell afterward, about the board spelling out a mother's name, predicting a breakup, making the light flicker, they're part of how we cope, part spooky folklore, part emotional placeholder. It's not about contacting spirits, it's about finding a message that feels true, even when the ink is coming from our own hands. And maybe that's the eeriest answer of all. Whether you've used one, feared one, or just laughed at the idea of one, the Ouija board is a strange little mirror, reflecting more of us than we think. Thanks for spending a few minutes in the weird with me. If you're into unravelling eerie stories with a skeptical eye, hit subscribe. There's a new mystery every weeknight. That was your dose of the unknown. See you in the next file. Subscribe for more of the unknown.